What's up, Shitimus here. In honor of the movie GOAT, coming out next week, and since we're having the All Star Basketball, week in the next couple of weeks, I decided to go ahead with my top 10 favorite basketball movies because who doesn't love a good b-ball movie, right? So here is my official top 10. All right, coming in at number 10 is the 1996 movie called Celtic Pride. This, of course, stars Dan Aykroyd, Daniel Stern, and Damon Wayans about two diehard Boston Celtic fans who kidnap an opposing team star player to help secure an NBA championship with ridiculous results here. And the chemistry, I really quite like the chemistry with obviously Daniel Stern, from Home Alone fame. Dan Aykroyd's great. Damon Wayans is really hilarious in this. It is a really fun little, comedy that I think hardly no one barely talks about nowadays. But it is a really fun one. If you guys haven't seen it, give that one a go. Number 9 is Love and Basketball, starring Sanaa Lathan, Omar Epps, where childhood friends turn lovers, chase their dreams of basketball glory while navigating heartbreak, ambitions, and timing across decades here. And I really quite like the chemistry with Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps. They really did play off each other very well. It is a movie about romance, about basketball. I guess you say it's like Jerry Maguire, but with basketball instead of football, really. But it is a really decent one if you guys haven't seen it. Number 8 is mostly a recent one, and that is Hustle. Hustle is the film starring Adam Sandler, Queen Latifah, Ben Foster, Rob Duvall. Where a down on his luck NBA scout discovers like a raw international talent and risks everything to prove they deserve a shot at the league here. And it was actually produced by LeBron James, because obviously he is an NBA superstar. And yeah, I really quite like Hustle. It of course premiered on Netflix, a couple years ago. I thought it was a really decent watch. Adam Sandler was pretty good in this one. Really showcased more of his dramatic chops here. He actually scored a SAG nomination for his performance here. Well deserved there. It is a really decent film. I mean, and the lead other actor, famed basketball player Janako Hernan Gomez. I know he really played his part very well too. But it was a really decent one there. Number 7 is Like Mike. Now this starred, Bow Wow, who at the name went by Lil Bow Wow. You also had cameos by Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Eugene Levy was in this, Morris Chestnut, Jonathan Lipnicki. It is, of course, more like this orphan who gains superstar basketball abilities after finding Michael Jordan's magical sneakers, and he skyrockets from playgrounds to NBA superstardom. And this was actually the one that really put Bow Wow on the map because, again, he was a pretty popular, rapper at the time, going by the name Lil Bow Wow. And I think he really does such a good job throughout here. His chemistry with Lipnicki is really good. It is a really decent coming of age story as well. Really decent magical type film. It is a really good one there. Number 6 is Air Bud. Now, Air Bud, of course, is the dog movie where this lonely kid discovers a runaway golden retriever who just happens to be a basketball player here. And also, you got Kevin Seegers was great in this one. The original Air Bud is a family sports classic. It is of course one of Disney's classic sport movies today. It is a really heartfelt story. I really quite like the Golden Retriever here. And we've had other Air Bud movies since. We do got another one coming out this year from the same company who did Terrifier, so there's that. But yeah, nothing beats the original Air Bud though. All right, number 5 is Coach Carter. Coach Carter, of course, stars Sam Jackson as this tough love high school basketball coach who benches his undefeated team for failing academically, forcing players to confront responsibility, discipline here. You had a very young Channing Tatum. Ashanti was in this. Coach Carter definitely was really inspirational at times. Sam Jackson was great in this one. Rob Brown, Channing Tatum, Ashanti. It is a really decent basketball movie worth giving a go there. All right. Number four is Blue Chips. Blue Chips is, by the way, directed by William Friedkin, who is best known for directing The French Connection, The Exorcist. So very interested to see him doing like a basketball movie starring Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, at the time, Shaquille O'Neal was trying to branch out into the acting business. Remember he was in Kazam, Steel. This is, I think, the better film he put out that year or that decade. This of course stars Nick Nolte, where of course like this college basketball coach compromises his like identity by legally recruiting star players to keep his program competitive here, exposing like the dark side of the NCAA athletics here. And of course, it did star Shaquille O'Neal, who obviously was pretty popular at the time with you know, with being a basketball player here, a basketball superstar. Of course, JT Walsh was great. Mary McDonald, Nick Nolte. It's such a really decent, interesting basketball movie that I think is well worth a watch. Number three is White Man Can't Jump. Of course, this movie stars Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, where these two streetball hustlers, one white and one black, who team up to con their way to the LA pickup basketball scene while navigating pride, money, relationships. You do got like Rosie Perez. I mean, White Man Can't Jump is terrific. It is love the chemistry with Harrelson. Snipes is great. It is a really wonderful film. We don't talk about the remake that hit on Hulu a couple years ago. That Hulu one, yeah, wasn't so good at all. But the original is definitely a good one. If you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend that one. All right, number two is Hoosiers. Of course, starring the late great Gene Hackman, Dennis Hopper, Barbara Hershey. It is, of course, where like a disgraced college coach and relentless local legend lead like a small town Indiana high school basketball team on a journey to state championship. And this is definitely one of my favorite Gene Hackman roles. He does such a good job throughout here. This was actually my first introduction to Gene Hackman, believe it or not. I went on to I didn't really watch like French Connection and all that until later. But yeah, Hoosiers is such a really classic basketball movie. I mean, this of course got released around the '80s, where basketball was pretty popular. But yeah, I still think this is a really solid one. Hackman is great. Hershey's terrific. Hopper's great. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely give that one a go. And my number one favorite basketball movie of all time, it is Space Jam. Now, I actually did not mind the sequel, New Legacy that came out a couple years ago with LeBron James, but I'm actually going to just go with the original. I mean, the remake was not remake. The sequel was cool. Don't get me wrong. I know lots of people did not like it. I, for one, enjoyed it. I don't care what anyone says. New Legacy rocked, but nothing beats the OG. Space Jam. I mean, you got Micah Jordan playing with the Looney Tunes. What more can you ask for? I mean, this pretty much was based on like a Nike's commercial that aired years prior, and of course where like the Looney Tunes face enslavement to alien basketball bullies, and Bugs Bunny recruits Micah Jordan to help him win like a high stakes game that blends NBA swagger with cartoon sanity here. And come on, you got Lil Bunny. Who did not love Lil Bunny back in the days? Come on. Of course, obviously you got cameos by the likes of Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird, Sean Bradley. Of course, obviously the Monstars are trying to end up getting talents for the NBA players, and so of course you got Danny DeVito's also in this. It's just one of my favorite Looney Tunes films to date. I just adore this one a whole lot. It's just a fun one, to say the least. And yeah, like who does not love Space Jam, right? And I know it's not awkward to talk about nowadays, but I also like the R. Kelly song, I Believe I Can Fly. Not maybe awkward to talk about nowadays, but that song is still a banger. Um, of course, the iconic song Space Jam is great. I mean, Space Jam is just one of the best in my opinion. But that's pretty much it there. Here's my quick rundown. Number 10, Celtic Pride. 9, Love and Basketball. 8, Hustle. 7, Like Mike. 6, Airbud. 5 Coach Carter, 4 Blue Chips, 3 White Man Can't Jump, 2 Hoosiers, and number 1 is Space Jam. Now, there's a couple of other ones I could have included. Denzel's movie He Got Game is a good one. Above the Rim with Tupac. Glory Road with Josh Lucas. Rebound with Martin Lawrence. The Basketball Diaries with Leo DiCaprio. The Way Back with Ben Affleck, which was actually one of the last movies I saw in theaters before the pandemic shut everything down. The Sixth Man with Marlon Wayans is a pretty fun one. There's also Eddie with Whoopi Goldberg. Okay. There's also Joanna Man. Who remembers Joanna Man? Just Right. I mean, there's loads of other ones. High Flying Bird. Not really including the movie Air. You know, the Ben Affleck movie about getting Michael Jordan and stuff. I'm not including that because, well, it's not really much of a basketball movie. It's more about like recruiting, like it's more about the shoes more than basketball. So that's definitely why I did not include that even in my list. But let me let you guys. What is some of your favorite basketball movies of all time? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Sammy Star.